Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet and all things related to the carnivore diet. I'm wearing this old really baggy shirt for a reason, and we'll talk about that here in a little later. It is Sunday. The time has changed. Got done with church. Got done with the cleanup. I take care of cleaning most of this building behind me while I'm cooking my food for the day. Since they're nice enough to let me use the range they've got in there to cook my food on, the least I can do is clean up a little bit. But today, well, tomorrow when you're seeing this, sorry about not having a video yesterday. Had some unforeseen technical difficulties. But I will, today's the day. It's Sunday now. You'll see this tomorrow. And tomorrow, which is today, I'm sorry, that's still confusing. But anyway, that'll be my 6-month carniversary. So today we're going to talk about, I know I've talked about a lot of this stuff through various other videos, but today, and I have forgotten my note sheet. So I'll wing it off the cuff here. And obviously I'm not going to go out to the park on a Saturday or a Sunday because it's going to be busy. I hope to be coming to you live from the park tomorrow. Well, not live, but you know what I mean. Looks like I've got, even though it's only 4:15 in the afternoon here on the East Coast, I think I've got about an hour and 10 minutes till sundown, so I should be able to get a good portion of this walk filmed. If that cloud would let go a little bit, hopefully you can see that. Looks like we might have a rather amazing sunset tonight. But as you can see, I'm not walking with my backpack. I did walk with my backpack for most of what I did yesterday, and the footage just didn't come out. Well, because I'm not sure if I forgot to hit the record button or for some reason my phone dropped out of record mode. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm not at the point where if something happens to the footage, I can just go out and redo the walk and redo the recording. Sorry, I'm not to that point. But anyway, let's talk about my 6-month carnivore experiment. I don't know that I'd actually call it an experiment anymore by now. As you all know, when I first started this 6 months ago, I can't tell you exactly how much weight I've lost, because when I first started, I didn't get on the scale. I had tried so many different ways to try and lose weight over the course of the decades that I didn't really have any hopes for losing weight. The whole point of doing this way of eating, of doing carnivore, I had heard from several people on the internet that it would make my arthritis feel a little better. And as you know, I couldn't stand for more than 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes without severe pain. And now here I am, out walking laps. You saw a trail walk with a half-loaded backpack just a couple of days ago. So I've always said I'd started this diet at 315, but going back and thinking about how much I lost in that first month, and I'm going to start with one of the side effects. Because I did not transition, I just jumped in with both feet, because that's the kind of person I am. The predictable thing happened. Those first 3 or 4 days, I could not get very far from the restroom because it was immediate and explosive. And that's all I'm really going to say about that. You know what I mean. So, well, I've always said 315 is where I started. I actually suspect it was probably a little closer to 320 or 325. But I'm going to continue to say 315 because that's what I read the first time I stepped on the scale 4 or 5 days into this. But as you can see, I've gone so far beyond being able to stand for more than a couple of minutes at a time. So I would have to call that part of the experiment a success. For those who don't know my whole story, there's several videos that go in depth in it. Very, very briefly, got discharged from the service in '83 because I had gout. Had multiple gout attacks over the course of the next 25 years. Followed the gout diet pretty closely, and all that led to was being diagnosed with diabetes. And then about another 10 years after that, again, still following the recommendations of the diabetes diet, that led to a triple bypass surgery. That was 4.5 years ago. And then after that, I was in sort of a give up mode. It's like, it doesn't seem to matter what I do. I keep getting sicker and sicker. But then I found the carnivore diet. The whole story of how I found it is back on my 90-day video. You can go back and watch that. But here I am, 6 months later, not just living, but thriving and getting my life back. And I now have long-term goals. The biggest of which is to walk the Appalachian Trail in 2025. Through hike it. All the way through, from one end to the other. It's like 2,320 miles. So let's talk about some of the other things that I found out while I was on this experiment. I found a lot of people that are my age, and now the line keeps getting younger and younger. But a lot of people my age have diabetes. And I won't belabor this a whole lot because we just talked about this last video or video before. But the bottom line is that I went from taking a lot of diabetes drugs to taking none. And in total, from diagnosis till last reading, my A1C dropped from 10.3 to 4.8. So I would call that a success. Another win for the experiment of carnivore. I get quite a few people coming into my comments asking about my blood pressure. Because, of course, you know, some of them are vegans looking for a fight, but a great majority of them, I believe many vegans are just misinformed. And they truly believe what they're talking about, even though, for the most part, it's wrong. But they ask me, what about your blood pressure? I'm sure your blood pressure is terrible with eating all that meat. Well, prior to starting this diet, I was taking 3 different blood pressure meds. And on a good day, my blood pressure would stay between 140 and 146, over 84 to 90. So even with 3 different blood pressure meds, it wasn't doing so good. Let me see if I can make my watch do its thing here. And I can make you see it. I don't know if it'll come into focus or not. Now remember, I've been walking already, and it's hot out today. It's 84 degrees. I don't know if that got caught or if you could see it or not, but it said 113 over 72. And that's with no blood pressure meds at all. So, I don't know, I guess I'd have to call that a win. My general fitness level has increased dramatically. You can go back and watch at the end of this video. Down in the description, I'll link to the September challenge. You can go back and watch the first one of those, and you'll see firsthand just how far I walked that first day and how much trouble I was having talking to you while I walked, which was literally just down to the corner and back, about 2.5, 3 houses down. And now I don't remember what the farthest I've walked is, but I've broken the 4-mile mark several times. Most recently on the trail with an 18 plus pound backpack. I think it was 18 or was it 16? I don't remember now. If you want to know for sure, you can go back and look it up. But I've done, a lot of walking when before I couldn't even hardly stand. And my blood pressure, I just took it. Now I wouldn't call this high-end exercise, it's just walking. But for me, that's pretty strenuous. So, we'll see. Another well-meaning vegan, and we've talked about this extensively as well. The two things they're going to say is, well, you can't eat all that protein because you're going to destroy your liver. Or they'll say you can't eat all that protein because you're going to destroy your kidneys. Both of those are patently false. Bad information on their parts. They're looking at a couple of studies, and I put studies in air quotes there, because if you know anything about the scientific method, they don't even really qualify as pseudoscience. They more qualify as science fiction. I present to you nothing written down, but my own N=1 experiment. Prior to this way of eating, my kidneys had always had fairly bad markers, and the most recent set before I started carnivore put me solidly into stage 1 chronic kidney disease. My liver markers, I had fatty liver. My liver markers had always been on the high side to, at the edge of the high side of normal. And they spiked this last time before the carnivore diet to where they were solidly in the range of where the doctor would start checking for cirrhosis and hepatitis and all the other bad things that can happen to your liver when it's not healthy. And I can't tell you about longer ago. The access I have, I can look at medical tests that were done at my doctor's office going back 5 years. which puts us back pretty solidly a year before my heart surgery. And I can tell you this last time around, both my kidney markers and my liver markers not only were low normal, but lower than they had been in the entire time I have access to. So, again, you can make up your own mind. Do you believe the pseudoscience / science fiction studies that are literally beyond laughable? Or how about you do your own N=1 experiment and find out for yourself? I'm gonna go back up here by the trailer, because that was, I started up there, I started here, went around the big loop twice, and came back to here. But I need a drink of water. I normally don't eat before I do my walk, but excuse me just a minute. Like I said, I don't normally eat before I do my walk, which has me a little more thirsty and a little more draggy than I usually am on these walks. But church days are hard because everybody, in Sunday school classes, there's cookies and cakes and juice and all the stuff I can't have. And then in the break, because the regular church service gets out about 12:15, the afternoon service starts at 1. So during that 45-minute break, there's more food to be had all over the churchyard. And I resisted it all today, but pretty much as soon as everybody started to clear out, I went to my fridge, got the roast I had thawed out, and put that on. I normally let it slow cook for a little bit, but I was hungry, so I stuck it in the big pan, put it on a semi-hard boil for about 40 minutes, pulled it out, threw it in a really hot skillet, turned it around a few times to sear it in several places, and then I just destroyed it because I was hungry. Because there's always a little basket sitting in the kitchen in there with leftover stuff that people didn't take home. And there were some Pop-Tarts and what looked like either cinnamon or pecan swirls and some cookies. And they were singing to me. But I got my big pile of beef done and tore it up. So that's why I'm going to have to figure out how to maybe run in town and get some McDonald's burger patties on Sunday morning before church. Since Sunday morning is when I go into the gym to make sure I take a good shower before church. Maybe having my one meal a day early on Sunday will help. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, why I needed a drink of water. Because I do still put a lot of salt on my meat. It tastes so good. It does not taste too salty, but it does taste pretty darn good with that much salt on it. So using the 315 mark, even though I think it was closer to 325 when I started, I said I had this great big long baggy shirt on. Look how big those armholes are. I had this on for a reason. Remember I said I hadn't really planned on having any weight loss, and if I got a little bit, it would be bonus. Well, as of now, I've bonused up for 115 pounds in 6 months. If you had told me 6 months ago that I was going to lose 115 pounds in 6 months, I would have called some of my friends in the mental health field and asked them to come get you committed. Because that's just crazy talk. But here I am. So go ahead. Tell me what you think. Has this experiment been a success? I think so. Oh! And just for the record, I had 13 different prescriptions. I took all of them in the morning, and several of them were twice a days. So I took 9, plus a couple of extras at night. Now I take one pill a day. And hopefully I'll get to ditch that in the spring. That's my my blood thinner that my cardiologist wants me on. I talked to him about it and he said, "You're doing fantastic, Bob." And I remember this was back when I saw him, I'd only lost 65 or 70 pounds. So I'm hoping for an even 140 or at least 130, another 15 pounds by spring. We'll see what happens. But I am hopeful because he had said you're doing great. But let's take it through the winter and see how you're doing. We'll reassess, do some tests in the spring, and see if we can get you off that last pill. So we shall see. If you're still hanging around, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? It's free. If you know someone that you think this information might help, go ahead and share it with them. It never hurts to share. Share it on your social media. Send them a link via email. But I am going to walk a few more laps. I'm not going to record anymore because I'm going to sit down and take a little bit of a break. Wait for it to cool off a little bit, maybe walk a little bit in the dark. I'll let you know about right here how much I actually walked today. Should be a video over here for the entire October challenge. Another one over here you've never seen before. Don't forget to get out there and be 1% better today, folks. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.